So hi guys, good morning. Today I'm going to be talking about finding your voice in a saturated market. I want to talk about this because I think I get asked a lot, like how do you stand out? How do you let people help people find you? And first of all, let's talk about the saturated market. Um, I think it's a great thing to have a saturated market. You don't want to be the only person find a new market and you're the only person there. So it'll be so much harder to sell because there's no one there you can sell to. But the scary thing about a saturated market is that everyone is in it. If you think about it, there's so many photographers, but I still get into it. It's because there is a market for it. There are people that need it, wedding photographers. There are people who need family portraits. Um, so the thing is that, first of all, let's get that out of the way. Saturated market is a great thing. And the more people in there, meaning the more clients and easier you can find them. So now it's just finding your voice. When I talk about finding your voice, it means how to share your uniqueness, because we're all unique. As much as we don't think so, we're like, well, no, there's another social media consultant, there's another photographer. They're doing the exact same thing that I do. Even last night when I went to the talk, the host is also a photographer, and she was talking about the stuff that she was working on. And I was like, you right, that's the same as me. I don't even need to do intro. I'll just copy and paste what you do to mine. So basically, there's so many people doing the same thing. So I want to talk about how to find your uniqueness. I want you to start thinking that you are unique being in this world. As much as we're like, oh, I don't think so, it's true, you are unique. And so for example, like let's say a logo designer who loves comic books, and that's his uniqueness. Let's say on Instagram, he can maybe design different logos for a makeup comic books, a comic character, or maybe a superhero. That could be his unique project that he can share to people, that he can show to others like, hey, I'm not just a logo designer. I got this thing that I'm interested in. Here's my conceptual project that I'm doing. This is something I'm doing on my personal time. And to kind of show people that how you as a logo designer is different from the logo designer next door. Another example I have is a client who curates home goods. She has like this amazing taste, and she was able to curate something really amazing. Now, it's easy to just share pretty pictures of your home goods and just talk about like, oh, this designer did this, this designer did this. But the thing is, you have to find your uniqueness as a store owner. And so I asked her, like, okay, first of all, how did you develop your taste? How did you figure out this is the candle holder to pick? So I asked her, and we're digging deeper, and we realized that she actually went to art school. Her parents are designers and art professor. And I was like, wait, these are like amazing details, because you need to share that, because now you can have a story and explain to people why you're unique, why you have such taste, why is your store different from the next door. So let's say for me, I am not just a photographer. I am also a mom. I have two daughters, teenager and a toddler. I'm Chinese. My mom is an artist. My dad is a photographer, and that's why I was able to tap into photography, because I have a built-in dad who like teach me like, you should get this camera, you should get this lens. So that's my unique story, and I have way more. I went to art school. I have all these experiences that I have to develop my taste. And so you see me sharing these stories a lot. It's because I want to show that I'm not just a photographer. I have a lot more things I can talk about. And that's what makes you different from a photographer next door, or Linda, who's online right now, being a social media consultant. That's what makes you unique, because now you have a story that when clients come to you, they're like, oh, I feel related. I want to work with her. It makes their choices much smaller now. So I want you guys to do some exercise. Get a notebook, paper, write it on your phone, and just write down everything that makes you unique, even down to the little things that you think there's nothing special. So, for me, being a Chinese, nothing special about that. There's so many Chinese. But I write those things down. That's the thing that makes me me. I'm an introvert. I'm shy. I actually wear glasses. So there's a lot of things that you can tap into. And so I wanted to write down as many as you can, even being shy, even you're outspoken, you're loud, just write down every single tiny thing. So that's one page. And on the next page, I want you to write down your ideal clients. Your ideal clients, who are they? Is she a mom? Is she a dad? Is she a professional? Is he a doctor? Single mom? Or is this person still young, like 20 to 30 years old? So write down every single trait. He likes to go work out. And at night after work, he likes to go to bar, or like he loves this kind of book. So just, again, your ideal client, write down all the different little traits. And now you can look at both pages and kind of like start drawing lines like, oh, I see connecting. I see this connecting. And you can slowly refine your ideal clients. And now that you have two big lists, then when you go into social media, it's so much easier to talk about what you want to talk about. Because now, even if I'm sharing I was a single mom, I'm able to find way to connect with my ideal client, who's also maybe a mom, who is a creative, who's struggling. I mean, to be honest, there's so many clients that I work with, they're moms, and they, when we get to work, we talk about the same thing, like, oh, so hard to find babysitter. So like finding this uniqueness, and they're able to, I've been able to just like find my ideal clients, and it's been so helpful. Now, so when you're writing your uniqueness, so go all the way back to childhood. Trace back to from childhood, like how did you develop your taste? How did you develop your interest? Was there some like special interest, like maybe you did a lemonade stand, and like you did a special like marketing trick, like from when you were young? For another example is Tom Ford. He loves talking about a story when he was little, how he was so picky about his shoes that his mom buy for him. He would be like, this little stitch is not perfect. So that's another of his own story to show that this is why I have this taste. I'm born with it. So he often if you look back, you can always find that story. He's always telling that same story. So trace back to your childhood and tell people how did you develop these kind of tastes. And now that you're grown up, what gets you excited? Write those things down too. Maybe I love to paint. Maybe I love to make my own personal story, like film a little project, like a side project. So what gets you excited? And then another thing is, people don't really talk about on social media, they try to stay away with, is what or who are you fighting for? I know there's like a lot of like politics talk, and then there's a lot of lately there's a lot of movement. If that gets you fired up and excited, you should say something, not just to stand up for what you believe in, but also stand up to show people what you stand up for. Because now they have a clear message of like, oh, okay, I see where she stands. And again, they might find connection and they might not. But that's even better, because if this person doesn't share the same value with you, you don't want to work with them anyway. So share more about who and what you're fighting for. Write those things down. Is there a cause you care about? Write them down. And then did you overcome something? For me, I talk about a lot of being a single mom, how I went from no money, almost barely could put food on the table, to right now I'm able to sit here and share these stories and be able to pay my mortgage. And like it's a drastic difference. So that's my failure and triumph story. And to you, maybe just a little bit like a tiny story. To you, you think it's not anything special, but it is. Like, let's say during college, I was not capable to design something, and it took me a while to figure out I actually love this thing. So like, even the tiniest story that you think it doesn't matter, write them down, because maybe when you write down your ideal clients, you'll find connection. And that's some of the things that you can talk about. So do this homework for me, and DM me, email me, show me your list. We can talk about it if you like. I would love to see it. And that's it. I'm also on Zoom call with my pro groups. So usually 15 minutes, I want to talk to them if they have questions. But for Insta Story, thanks for tuning in. Love to chat with you guys next time. Thank you. All right, I'm going to stop.